Today, I open the door to the energy of self, identity, and expression. This is main character calibration. Who am I becoming? I choose who I am. Now, let's let that frequency flow. My name is Gail. I am the energy-led woman, and these are my video diaries. And today is Sunday, the 14th of June, 2026. Sunday in my world is all about the sun and the solar plexus, and that brings forward this energy of self-identity and expression. So I am a self-projected projector, which means I just tune in to my G center and let my G center speak for me. So my soul, my G center. And in doing so, I hear my own truth. I make decisions, all that kind of jazz. So let's just lean into this and see where this takes us today. It's really interesting to me that already, before I really kind of sat down and kind of said to myself, it's Sunday, this is the energy around us today, blah, blah, blah. I have been for a walk in the woods, like literally, about half an hour after waking up, and all the way as I was walking around the woods was thinking about this and going through this. And yeah, by the way, just ignore the state today. Sunday is a bit of a kind of like a lazy-ish day. There's no makeup, there's no lashes. You're in my front room, it's not the best camera angle, it's probably not the best lighting. I probably look shattered. It is what it is. This is not about being perfect. This is about bringing a frequency forward and tuning into the frequency, and it's about me expressing myself as opposed to I don't know, creating perfect content. Anyway, so today I open the door to the energy of self, identity, and expression. This is the main character calibration. I choose who I am. I would say that I am becoming very, very aware of the growth that I have gone through during winter and spring. In that, I remember very, very clearly hitting my 49th birthday in October and kind of looking into the 7-year cycles and hitting the 49th year, which is a new cycle, and it's a cycle of embodiment, and feeling very rebellious and resentful against it, because it kind of means like embodiment, like you've finished the battle. So let's kind of put it into kind of story mode, just because it helps me. You've finished the battle, you've fought all the bad guys, and now it's time to just kind of settle in and kind of get old. And I was like, can't sit with this, I can't sit with this. And my initial kind of reaction to that was really to push back and to be like, no, I'm not ready to settle yet. I am still fighting the matrix. I still have things that I need to push against and grow against, and things that I want to create, I want to build, I want to do all these things. And there was a lot of that still. And it's funny how now that we're in a new moon right now, in June. Next week is the summer solstice. So it's funny how we're hitting summer solstice and my persona has completely changed. I am now that woman. I am that woman who I don't need to shine bright for people to see me. I shine bright for myself, and if you see me, you see me. I don't need to create content for others. I create contents for me, and if you find it, you find it. I don't need to be pushing myself forward, making myself be seen. I am quite happy just being in my home, enjoying my marriage, my life, and almost like really embodying kind of the hermit aspect of my human design almost. I don't want to have responsibilities and accountabilities and, you know, be, I want to say at the beck and call of others. That sounds wrong because I don't mean it like that, but like when I was doing coaching, when I was helping women, when I was doing all that kind of stuff, you have to be available for these women, and whether it's a set time that you agree to it or whatever, but you've got to be available, and I'm not feeling very available. I want to be focused in on me, and I want to really focus in on my life, who I am becoming, and I want everything else to be a byproduct of that. So these videos, the purpose of these videos is for me to lean into this energy and this frequency and see what comes out of my G center every day. It's not to guide you and to tell you what I think you should be doing or how I think you should live your life. I think the era of that kind of coaching is done. I really do think that kind of era is over. I think everybody is so individual and so totally unique. You know, all you have to do is look at the mechanics of a human design chart to see how, even if on the top 3 layers you've got people who are exactly the same, there'll be some little niggle somewhere in the layers of the human design chart that make you so different from everybody else, because we each are unique. So the coaching and the guidance going forward, I don't believe is, hey, let me take you through a step-by-step process that gets you from here to there. I believe coaching and guidance comes from like helping you see yourself. You know, not telling you about yourself, but helping you to see yourself, helping you to tune into your intuition, helping you to tune into what is the right way for you. So it's really interesting that here we are, and I'm looking back and I can really see that clearly, that push against it, and then here I am, like 8 months later, like, and I am that person that I was like, I didn't want to be. And it's because it felt old lady-ish, you know, it felt like someone, you know, tending to the fire and drinking tea and, you know, just being quiet. But there is this kind of quiet acceptance of who I am and what I'm about, and that focus in on myself and letting whatever comes from that come from that. So anyway, today I opened the door to the energy of self-identity and expression. You know, I've started to express myself in ways that I've never really done before. I'm starting to use Substack a little bit more because I feel like I want to have a place where when I script about future situations, when I journal on something that's just happened, and I like to create what I'll call like a short story out of them. So it's a chapter of my life, it's a moment of my life, and if it was in the book of my life, what would that story be? And I like to create that as a little story. And so I'm starting to put those out on Substack, and I'm really enjoying doing that. So obviously there's a massive shift in my expression here in this place, and the way that I foresee what I'm kind of doing here is each day we have a theme, we have a topic, and I'm just allowing myself to flow on it. And as I flow on it, some of the stuff that comes forward will be rememberings. Some of the stuff will be maybe new channeled kind of stuff coming in from my G center. Some of the stuff might be just It's just my knowledge. It's just my knowing, my inner knowing, my identity, what I believe, my G center, my identity, what I believe. And it's just going to come through. And in 6 months' time, a year's time, I will have evolved and grown and changed so much, just like I have in the last 6 to 8 months. And having that documented in this way is really, really powerful for me. So, you know, I might be able to, you might be able to, whatever, look at Sunday and look at all the videos I've created around self-identity and expression, because each video will have its own guidance, but it's guidance for me because I'm listening to the tone of voice. So when I talk about being a self-projected projector, it's about how I feel as I say it, how the words feel as I say them, what the frequency of my tone of voice is. All these things come together and give me my direction, my truth. Those same things potentially work for you to help you, like, to activate something in you or not, you know, and that helps you to navigate your life too. So when we talk about expression, I'm also, you know, I'm an active user of Instagram. Instagram is where I create my world. I guess that maybe might need some explaining at some point, but Instagram is where I create my world. YouTube is where I talk about what are my beliefs and who I am, what shapes me, what frequency am I on, what frequency do I want to be on, what energy is in this life topic, what energy is in a different life topic. And now I've got Substack, which is like the little kind of short stories of the inner stuff. Whether this rolls out any further into Facebook, TikTok, I don't know right now, but at the moment I'm happy with those 3. That's making me happy doing those things. So, self, identity, main character energy. If you are not the main character in your life, who is? And why would you be the support actor in your own life? You can't be. You're not. And you get to write your life story. You get to write who you are. You get to design who you are. You get to choose. I choose who I am. Who am I becoming? I choose who I am. You get to choose. If you want to be the main character in some kind of like boss babe success story, then grab that. Tune into that and tune into that frequency. If you want to be the woman on the romantic, in the romance film, grab that. Hallmark film, that's what I was trying to come up with. Grab that. Tune into that frequency. You know? Write your own story. Create your own world. Right now, I did a meditation yesterday. I went to visit my higher self. There is a YouTube video of how I do that. It's probably quite old. I might have changed it up a little bit. It's probably from back in the days when I used to do stuff that used to take 20 minutes, whereas now I don't. Everything about frequency with me is quick flash. 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't do these 20-minute deep dives very long anymore. I don't do 20-minute deep dives very often anymore. But I did go to visit my higher self yesterday in the realm of Ascended Masters. And I couldn't see her. She normally brings energy into form for me, and I can normally tune into her. I can see her. I can see, you know, what her body looks like, what her hair looks like, and it gives me a direction. And I couldn't see her yesterday, and it's niggled me. It's niggled me since then, because I've been like, why can't I see her? Why can't I see her? Why couldn't I tune into her? And it very possibly is just that, you know, I just wasn't tuned in at that moment. And I'm going to try and do a meditation after this to try and tune into that. But I think it's because she's changing at the moment. I think she's shifting. I think she's moving, because this main character's coming through at the moment. The main character, I've got her, but I haven't. So if we think about it like writing a book. So I kind of have the basics of my main character, but I need to put some meat on the bones, shall we say, to know a little bit more about her. So let's talk about this main character. So I am Gail. I am the energy-led woman. I live an energy-led lifestyle. I choose it. I tune into the energy around me and within me to help me navigate every day. And to help me, as I navigate every day, I kind of design my life, create my life, live my life. I'm a self-projected projector. I need to speak, you know. This whole reworking of how I express myself is linked to this new main character that is coming through, and who she's going to be. And that meat is kind of, that meat on the bones, that expansion of this character, that I just kind of had this, you know, she's 49, she's in her 49th year. She is in her embodiment era. She's thinking about legacy. You know, what legacy is she kind of leaving behind? And a lot of that is linked to expression. You know, releasing hustle, releasing the need to be seen, releasing the need for, I mean, the need for validation went a long time ago. That was a whole thing. But, you know, this the need to be kind of seen, but actually not caring. I don't care if I get 1 view. I don't care if I get 200. I don't care if someone doesn't like my red hair. You may have seen that video. That just, you know, it just doesn't, there's like this massive release, and acceptance is maybe the word. An acceptance of who I am. While there's like this acceptance of who I am, while there's an invitation to become this next level version of me as well. So I am a self-projected projector. We accept that is me. I call myself, because I like the fantasy genre, and I can't settle with, like, a lot of people, I suppose, if they were, or a lot of women who might be thinking about main character energy, might be thinking of themselves as like a witch or something, but I don't vibe with that. To me, a witch is just a woman, and there's a whole thing behind that as well. I went to Edinburgh in November, and the realizations and the information, the remembrance that came through from that was just shocking, and I still haven't done a full video on it anyway. You know, it is just being a woman, and there's not a piece of witchcraft that does not just align to just being a woman. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So because of what I do, and because of how I move and kind of weave and change energy, I like to call myself an energy weaver. So there's this whole piece of who I am that is coming through. And I just need to do another higher self. I need to go visit my higher self again, see if she comes through this time, and start shall I say, allowing myself to be her, because that is a lot of what frequency work is. Because I am on the frequency of this woman. I am that frequency is within me. But what changes, numbs, dulls down that frequency is the conditions, the beliefs, the judgments, the opinions, all the things that blur that frequency. And so a release of that frequency, or a release of all those things, means that I'm coming more into alignment with my true frequency and who I truly am. So, main character energy, yes, I can feel it building, it's there. I'm not 100% sure of every single piece of this right now, but I've got a pretty good idea. Like I say, I just need I need that character that's really coming through to just be more rounded, more expanded, a bit more meat on the bones. Yeah. Who am I becoming? I choose who I am. Do we need a card pull? I think we need a card pull, right? Oh, I think this is a much better angle than what I was on before. Anyway, I am using the Rebecca Campbell Starseed deck. You will notice that I do love Rebecca Campbell's decks. I don't know, the artwork, the feel of them, just everything about them just feels so lush. So, let me read my little statement. Hang on a sec. Today I open the door to the energy of self, identity and expression. This is main character calibration. Who am I becoming? And I choose who I am. Just give me some guidance. Oh no. That card went totally under the sofa. Give me one sec. That took some finding. Here we go. You are not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. Interesting. You are not alone. The older the soul, the deeper the cave. Many starseeds and old souls enjoy their own company. Spending time alone can be comforting and necessary for their vitality, as it allows them to commune with their soul and fill up their energetic resources, especially if they have an underactive or open root chakra and find it hard being human. Many starseeds find it more nourishing to retreat than to spend their time in meaningless conversations and relationships. However, we must remember that we're not here to go about this life alone. Humans are pack animals, and we all need the love, company, and support of others, both emotionally and physically. In our increasingly online world, we can be connected to more people and yet feel more alone and isolated than ever. There's still so much we don't know about the energetic side effects of things like social media, with so many people knowing our news. What is it doing for our auric field? Commonly, we find ourselves in constant conversation, yet lacking the genuine connection of a physical community and touch. The main message of this card is to step out of your cave and physically reach out to those in your life, to replenish when you need to, but not isolate yourself. This could be seeing friends and family who live nearby, or having a regular catch-up walk with someone. In what ways can you open yourself up to the people who are physically in your life, those you truly know? Interesting. Interesting. And I think that's potentially something that I do need to lean into, because, as I said at the start of this, I am enjoying my hermit mode. But maybe my line 4 needs that connection too. And maybe that's what the card's telling me. You know, I'm a line 2-4, I'm the introverted extrovert. You know, I already have, there's things in my head already that are like, maybe I meet up with that person, maybe I meet up with that person. So already I can feel kind of like the energetic invite coming through just from reading that card. Interesting. Anyway, I've rabbited on for a little bit. I don't know how long this video is. I think I've helped myself. I've helped myself get some clarity. I kind of know where I need to go with this. I've got to work on that main character, definitely. I need to log that down. I need to get it written out, create the backstory, create the story of that. It's also niggling me in the background that I do have two big projects that I really want to get done, and it is video recordings, and it is two explorations, two journeys that you will be able to go on with me to understand more about how I live this life and how you can bring it into your life. Let's hope I get something started soon, because these have been on my mind since, one of them since last summer and the other one since November, December time. And I get in my head when I start them. So they've got to come from me naturally. They've got to come from my G center, which means I've got to tune into it. I've got to be in the moment. I've got to let that flow through. And I know it's there, and I know it's something that I need to record and get laid down, but it's just not coming through. Or I'm just not finding the moment. So I have to trust that divine timing, right? It's not, if I can't speak about it, if I can't let it flow, it's not the right time yet. It's as simple as that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, I'll listen to this back and see what I found. See what I found along the way. Yeah, let me know if anything resonates. Catch you later.